Got it.
Oh, welcome. God damn it. Welcome back, everybody. Episode 47 of the Six Man Tech Podcast. Thanks for listening, watching. If you're on YouTube, hey, everybody. I'm Mike, and joining me as always, it's CJ.
What's up, everybody? It is CJ Doyen, aka Craig Francis. Glad to be back with you once again for another very exciting six-man tag podcast where I think it's going to be a fun one today because Skyler, the man of 1,001, 2001, 2023 intros, just Skyler now, though. He has no last name anymore, so now I just have to refer to him as Skyler. He came up with a good idea for part of this episode, so I'm going to pass it along to him, see what this intro is, and see how we just dive right in. So, ladies and gentlemen, Skyler.
I thought you were going to say his last name off reflex.
No. See.
Hey, let me talk to you.
I knew it.
We got two dummies here in the six-man tag. Bruce, dummy, yeah. CJ, dummy, yeah. And you know why they think? Because they don't know whose game it is. N.Y. Strange. Yeah. N.Y. Skyler.
I'm sorry. Yeah, there you go. I was about to say you're just not
strange
anymore. Yeah.
I mean, technically, that was the Eli Drake stuff because he didn't say dummy anymore.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
That's specifically where I got inspired.
Maybe.
Yeah.
WWE told him you can't say dummy anymore. That's bullying, and we're against that. Unless it's assaulting women, apparently. Never mind.
Did you
read
that article I sent before?
$12 million.
Well, besides that,
what? What'd you send before?
What?
That's that. We'll get to that later if we have time.
But, all right.
Yeah,
okay.
So basically, I think we might have mentioned this on an episode or two ago that I just kind of wanted to listen to the two retro episodes in the archives.
It's a retro recap, folks. Yeah,
it's
episode
a retro recap.
43 and 44. Just scroll back. It says retro on it and have a
retro
listen.
Again.
Yes, thank you.
So, and I believe these episodes are about 10 years old, I want to say.
2014.
2014. Okay.
Damn, we must have had some pretty good takes back in 2014.
I wonder.
I'm hoping so.
9 years ago. Nine years.
But right now I'm vamping for a quick moment. Just to kind of, test the levels out and, get a kind of temperature for what's going on here.
Yeah, man, it's getting good.
Okay, good.
I got you.
that was me trying to cover up CJ telling me to turn up my game.
Yeah. Well, you're always the quiet one in the podcast.
Turn them up.
Turn my headphones up. Serious, I can't hear nothing.
So basically, I sat down, listened to 1 3/4 of the episodes, and just wrote.
Do we have a 33 and a third % chance of getting through this episode?
Yeah, but CJ knows
Samoa Joe can't
remember
even
any
beat
of
me,
this,
and he knows it.
So basically,
I do have
just
trouble
have a
with
bunch
memory, for the record.
I just have a bunch of. Well, gee, I wonder why. So yeah, I just have a bunch of stuff written here, and I'm just gonna name it off. And
so it's a retro recap, if you will.
If you will. We're seeing if how some things have changed in the last 10 years. Did some things come true?
Because oh boy,
how terribly off were we on something?
Yeah, when we listened back, we were like, oh boy.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of interesting things on those shows. I mean, we had interesting takes on certain wrestlers, which I think is funny, which we will get to, I'm sure. Yeah. We had interesting takes on certain people that were in our lives at the time. Some drugs that might have been involved in other times.
We're just saying.
We're
just saying.
No,
I actually don't think these particular episodes.
Oh, one of them did. I remember it.
Might not have been posted now. Might be able to go back and listen.
No, it was
on one of these. See, this is how.
Yeah, because I was listening to it on my one of my drives, and I definitely got to the part where they were like, "Remember Molly?" And I'm like, "Oh, whoa."
Okay.
Look, it took me right back to White Castle, Mike. I'll tell you that.
Ah.
You know exactly what I mean.
So,
Mhm.
you want me to just start?
Yeah, go for it, man. What do you got?
So, I guess I'll just go in order of the notes I took as I was listening. The
Yeah.
very first one. Is Craig
Yeah.
still the most interesting man in wrestling?
Ooh, that's a good question. That's a good question.
I mean,
Go ahead, Mike. Go ahead.
Was he the
I wanna
is
hear-
he still
let's
our
hear Mike's-
insider to everything inside wrestling?
That was not the tagline. The tagline was the insider to
both
everything
episodes.
interesting.
There you go. Okay.
I
I
remember
mean-
my tagline. All right. So
I mean, I'm just gonna say simply based on retirement from the squared circle. I mean, undecided as of today.
although
At the time, although I mean, who's to say? I mean, is every gimmick for life?
Well, let me get to my second one. Why
hold
did
on, I didn't
Sky?
even get the answer.
Okay, you go ahead and answer.
Well, no, it's really not important.
Okay, I'm finished.
Okay, I'm done. Okay, can I finish? Can I finish? Okay, I'm finished. Andy would tell you that I still am because Andy's still trying to like get me out of retirement and do one more run with him. But now I live on the other side of the country, so that seems
They
a little
got
hard.
indies on the West Coast.
They do. If Andy ever
You're
wants to come out, and we'll start circling the indies out
Isn't
here,
like
maybe.
Just call PWG, make the
yeah,
drive.
There you go.
PWG.
And yeah, you're good.
Yeah, they're looking to hire me. 34-year-old Craig Francis with shoulder surgery and fucking. Nah,
Do they-
Bro, Ric
You know,
Flair
Ric-
wrestled in this year in 2022. You're good.
I wasn't a 16-time world champion. To be fair.
Yes.
Yes. There's still time. There's still
Hey,
obviously plenty of time.
DDP didn't start till he was like 40.
That's true. That is true.
Just
And
be
it's
hope in
amazing
life.
because like what is that like? What does that make him now? Isn't he like 107 years old?
He's
and he
like,
looks
yeah, no, he's
Yo,
like
that
he's like
yoga.
late 60s.
that yoga's doing good shit for him, man.
Hell yeah.
Honestly, is. I gotta do that again. I would highly recommend that to anybody because it is very good.
Yeah, I kind of want to. I need to get serious about working out again, and that sounds like a good avenue. But speaking of the whole character thing, my second one was, why did Skyler lose his geonomics practice?
Well,
The doctor of geonomics. I forgot about that. I forgot that you said that was your opening that time.
Yep.
Did you do like a whole like Cena rap to go with it?
No,
Oh, you should have.
no. Well, Mike right now is doing the oi movement. Hi.
Oi,
Oi.
oi. I remember the oi movement.
Oi.
I do remember the oi movement.
Yep, the oi movement. That was also.
you have to like Bob Dole.
That
It's
was
paid
also-
out.
Yeah, Bob Dole.
That was my Twitter handle briefly too until I deleted that.
The oi movement.
Yep.
That's a good. I mean, that's a good one.
Okay. But moving on. Now here's the wrestling.
Oh, thank God.
It's about time.
So around this time, we had the fallout from the CM Punk walkout.
Wow, how ironic.
Yes.
It's funny that this show, not that the CM Punk thing happened like when we restarted it, but like it happened within the first,
Year.
whatever, a few months, the
Yeah.
first year of us
Well,
obviously
year.
doing this. So we've been now through 2 CM Punk walkouts, I guess. I
Yeah.
mean, technically, I don't know if this was a walkout, but you know what I mean. Like two
No.
CM Punk controversies we've
Yeah.
had to like live through and actually document now.
Yeah. It feels like to me, I mean, the first CM, I mean, obviously, you know, 9 years later, the first Punk walkout, based on everything told, it seemed justified on his end. If he was frustrated or burned, it's him walking out, sort of no different than when Austin did it in 2002.
Yep.
I mean, Austin, he was burned out. I'm sure he was clearly, I don't have to say, he was clearly beat up and hurt and all that stuff. And then like he just gets frustrated, so he goes home.
Yeah, they wanted him to lose to Brock
Brock,
Lesnar in a
with
King
no
of the
build.
Ring qualifier on
Mhm.
Raw unadvertised.
But that wasn't the only reason. That was just
Oh,
like
no,
the
it wasn't
last
the
straw of a whole list of stuff with him. But it is kind of comparable. I mean, I don't think it's ever a good idea to just like walk out on something like that, just because you do stand to lose a lot. I know sometimes in the
It's your
moment.
Sasha Banks apparently.
Well, true, but I mean,
Uh,
especially
yeah, and now,
where's
like-
Naomi?
where is Sasha now? She just didn't
You
she
mean
just pop up somewhere?
Mercedes
Yeah.
Monet?
Yeah, where did she just pop up?
She showed up at Wrestle Kingdom.
That's what I thought. I was about to say it was
Yeah.
New Japan, right? Yeah.
I mean,
She-
familiar opponent. It worked.
She botched her intro bad.
Yeah, I heard
Really?
that.
Well, she confronted Kairi Sane's just Kairi now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because now there's an IWGP Women's Championship finally. So, and Kairi's the inaugural, and she confronted her and tried to hit her finisher on it, and it
Yeah.
just did not.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I
What
mean,
the fuck happened.
it's a logical opponent. At least they've worked together. It's not going to be some foreign, person. And well, I don't mean it that way. I literally mean like a new opponent.
Yeah.
She is a foreign person, Mike. She's a gaijin.
He is a Gaijin.
It's
Although
true.
a lot of people thought it was also going to lead. A lot of people thought it was going to end up with her also showing up in AEW. So far, not the case. Although I feel like with the way they handled Soraya's mystery tag partner, I feel like they wanted to try to get her and they couldn't. So Tony Storm.
Yeah. Well, that was people getting their own expectations up for no
Maybe
reason.
that too. Maybe
Just
that
like
too.
Kenny Omega's going to debut at the Rumble.
Yep. CM Punk was coming back for like literally 7 straight years. Yeah. He's going to be here. No, nobody said that. Why isn't he here? I'm canceling the network.
Oh, I remember. Maybe I don't know.
That is
like
something we're going to get into further down the list.
Yeah,
but
like a
I
year or
mean,
two before the fucking before AEW started, I remember everybody was just like, Kenny's coming this year. It's gonna be, it's happening. It's like we got AJ the a year before or 2 years before. Kenny's coming now, and then like he doesn't show up, and the internet like lost their minds.
Yeah,
like as if Vince himself like sent them a personal letter saying, make sure to watch, Kenny Omega's gonna be on. Like everyone acted like it was a done deal, and like obviously it was not even a thing at all.
Yeah. But to kind of with the CM Punk stuff, I mean I don't want to get into this this time, but then for someone at his his stature, whatever word whatever word you want to use, his fame and stuff. I mean, for him it was probably just he's burnt out, he's beat up,
he's tired, he's old, he's cranky, and he works with fucking children.
Right,
a lot of little crotchety.
Right. So he at the time he was probably like, listen, if I'm not, and I know his big thing was like main event WrestleMania and stuff. He felt
main event
right. It's like, he felt he deserved more. So if you're in that spot, and you're just over it, I get the walking out stuff. It's never a good idea, especially on a contract, especially at the time. I wonder what kind of royalties he lost out on, but he probably also doesn't really care about the money. Felt, screw it, I'm out.
By the way, quick fantasy booking on my part. I know supposedly he suggested something like, since Rock was coming back, doing a triple threat like elimination, and Punk would get eliminated first, and he didn't mind. He got his spot. He could.
Yeah, right.
I personally think that, how for a little while, like the thing was Cena could not beat Punk, and then he finally did on like an episode of Raw, and like really fucking good match. I think that should have been WrestleMania for the title.
No, I mean you're not wrong.
Punk and Cena as a WrestleMania main event works. I mean,
it would have worked.
Money in the Bank match is,
bro. I was at one of those and I didn't even watch the match, so I don't know how much it works personally for me. But I mean, I was literally at WrestleMania at MetLife, and that match came on, and I turned to Anthony. I was like, I'm gonna go hit the gift shop before the match is over and they get swarmed, because I don't give a fuck about this main event. I saw the Undertaker versus CM Punk. I saw who is it? Brock Lesnar. Was it against Triple H that year? Who is it?
Oh God, I don't remember.
It was the year where he had that like freak out where he hit he speared the dude into the wall, and he was like, "What?" Yeah, like he tried to scream, but it was like really like it sounded like a dying goat.
I think that was the technically second Triple H.
Yeah, so I got to see Lesnar and Triple H. I got to see
that was
Punk
a damn good match. That was
wait,
wait, Brock and because for some reason I'm thinking Undertaker, Brock and Triple H, the match was.
No, it was Taker and Punk. Taker Punk was incredible.
Yeah, Taker Punk, that should have been the main event.
Yeah,
but twice in a lifetime.
Got to see Fandango start the new streak at 1-0 over Chris Jericho. I got to see that live and in person. That went really well. Glad that that worked out the way everyone wanted it to, especially Jericho.
Now he's Dirty Dango.
Chris Jericho was pissed about that, rightfully so.
What about losing to him?
basically, like I don't even think Jericho cared about like doing the job to him. I think he cared about doing a job to a guy that's literally has not been on TV yet, and like with no push and no like nothing other than like Jericho just saying his name wrong for like 3 weeks on Raw.
Right. Right.
Um,
But yeah, I mean, it was justified. I'm sure I don't even remember what we said about it. At the time, I feel like we were more just like reporting the news rather than whatever
pretty much.
hot. Not that we didn't have our own takes, but like I feel like we were probably like, oh, he
Reporting
walked
the
out.
news. Hey, this is what we
Well,
read on the internet. Now
Yeah,
you
pretty
know
much.
too.
I want to
Yep.
say by those episodes, actually, we were kind of like, oh, well, how are they going to deal with that Chicago episode?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Right. With all the
We hadn't
chanting and
gotten
stuff,
to-
that makes sense.
We hadn't gotten to Mania yet.
But I mean,
it was also like it was like fresh. We didn't because I remember like months after the fact or whatever, whenever he was on like Colt Cabana's podcast at the time. Like because like it took months for something like that to happen for him to speak up. So I guess you kind of didn't really know what was going on, but it made sense at the time. Looking back on it, burned out, over it, go home and rest. Made sense.
Lawsuit.
Don't agree still, but made sense, I guess.
Yeah. So we've talked about that enough because I want to get to the next one because the next one ties into some things we've already talked about.
Yes.
I wrote down Biggie and Cesaro. The name drops begin.
yeah.
This was right around the time Antonio Cesaro became Cesaro.
Yep.
Yeah.
Biggie Langston became just Big E. And
Needs to get his
Skylar
Langston
Strange was still a ways away from just becoming Skylar.
Skylar.
Can't believe Skylar S.
No, not even the S.
Can't believe
No,
he
he
said
can't
it.
even keep the S.
I was gonna
Skylar
say he
Skylar
came
in
in.
all caps.
I just figured don't even mention your last
You
name.
probably
'cause
got like
it's-
a really boring fucking Titantron, I would think, with that name.
I don't know. I always just think of K. Trevor Wilson.
I just think of like I just think of the
people.
jobbers that they just have the generic Tron with the house music or whatever house track 2. Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
What I was saying was
Dude's
K.
walking
Trevor
out to the
Wilson-
Velocity theme from 2008.
K. Trevor Wilson has a joke about watching wrestling on Saturdays, and it's like you would have the guy that's standing there in the ring, and you already knew he's jobbing because the announcers would go, and weighing in at 215 pounds, Scott.
I was kind of channeling that with my intro of you on this episode. I was literally trying to channel that bit a little bit and
love
kind
that
of
bit.
signify that you're a jobber.
Yeah, of course.
For now.
But no, I
and
love that bit too. His other bit about the Captain Crunch is also hilarious. If
Oh
you haven't
God,
seen
the
that,
Captain
look that one
Crunch.
up. Yeah, the
Captain
Captain
Crunch is like
one's
my favorite
hilarious.
cereal. So
Oh, he's got a whole bit about how Canadians don't have crunch
It's
berries, and it's really funny.
yes,
He's
it
just
is.
like, apparently, you Americans, not only do you have crunch berries, you have enough of them to just make a box full of them. Oops, all berries. But there's some kind of Canadian embargo on crunch berries that I don't know about. Like, he does a whole like rant on it. It's really funny.
K. Trevor Wilson's awesome.
Yeah.
It's also just funny seeing Squirrely Dan, and then K. Trevor Wilson is just like so well spoken.
Also, did you realize and
Gigantic.
have you
too?
have you guys watched The Last of Us yet? I know we talked about it last episode.
Episode
Yes.
1 I have.
Okay,
Yep,
so did you
I'm all the way up.
all right, well, this has to do with episode 1 anyway, so it's fine. But did you realize that he's the Fedra job guy in the beginning of the first episode?
I thought that was him.
Oh, it's
Really?
100% him. Yeah.
Awesome. Good for
Yeah, it's
him.
100% him. Go back, like I noticed it on my second watch through, because I watched it 3 times actually, but
Hey, it was
on
really
my
good.
second watch through, I saw him talking to Joel. He's like, which we got no jobs today. What do you want tomorrow? And he tells him like, there's the whatever job, and then there's the one in the sewers. And Joel goes, well, which one pays more? And he goes, that'd be the one with the shit. And as soon as he said that, like I heard the voice, and I was just like, that is him. I was like, 100%. That's fucking him. I could tell by the voice. But yeah, I thought it was just kind of funny. It's a bit role. He's in it for all of fucking 15 seconds, but I just thought it was funny that he's in it.
I will say this because I followed his Instagram for a while. For a while, he was literally just posting his wrestling shirts for like a year straight. It's like,
Yeah.
that is a collection.
Yep.
Bravo.
It doesn't surprise
Anyway,
me that he's got a good collection of wrestling shirts. That man, it's definitely, he understands. He knows the
So-
biz.
Yes. So getting back to Biggie and Cesaro, the name drops
Mhm.
begin.
Yeah.
Why and thoughts?
Why?
I still don't the Big E one is probably the only one that actually makes sense to me. Just because, like, at least I don't know, it does and it doesn't. Like, at least like Big E sounds like, okay, this is like a wrestling name. It's not meant to be
It's
like
still
a full.
corny as fuck.
No,
Big E.
It
Who
is, but
gives a
at
fuck?
least like you're dropping the name, and what you have is like what sounds like some kind of like wrestling name, as opposed to when the guy has like a regular first and last name.
As opposed to Skyler. Just being
Right.
Skyler.
Right.
Right, but like the Antonio Cesaro stuff, like it just like something like that when you drop someone's like
Adrian
when
Neville.
yeah, like all those guys, like when you drop the first name, it just doesn't make any sense to me.
Or the last name, Elias.
Yeah.
I'll almost say that one at least sort of makes sense to, I don't know, because like when you have a musician, the whole one name thing makes more sense, I guess. If you really want to like dig deep about it.
Wow.
The
I haven't
Elias
actually
one didn't
thought
bother
about
me as
that.
much as the Elias one, honestly, and maybe this was the reason, and maybe you hit the nail on the head there, Mike, and it was like subconsciously like
You
why it
know, I
didn't
mean,
bother me, but that
Madonna,
one didn't bother me
Madonna, Cher,
Sting.
Elias.
because he always just called himself Elias in the promos anyway. Like when he came out, did the guitar, it was Walk with Elias. Now,
Right,
wait,
and
what was his
right.
last name? I don't even remember
Samson.
now.
Samson.
I was gone.
Samson.
Knew it. I wanted to say
The name also doesn't fit for like a lot, like what the gimmick was. Like, so that made sense. But like guys like Antonio's, like all the way through the years, even up to
Yeah.
Austin Theory, like
Yeah, Austin Theory. That like to call a dude just Theory is just fucking dumb. I'm sorry,
Exactly.
it's just fucking stupid.
Same with like
Hey,
Matt.
Austin, I can call you
Same with
Austin
Matt
again.
Riddle. Like unless
Yeah, Riddle.
like,
That's another dumb one.
like you're not like he's not he didn't have a fucking Batman villain gimmick. You weren't gonna confuse that.
Yeah.
Like
Especially since that's already his real name. That's what he's
Right.
known as. He was a known superstar.
Right.
You know, with UFC and everything else before
Like-
he even got
Right.
to WWE. You know what
and
I mean? Like,
It's
and
not
I
like we
get
got Rousey.
right.
yeah,
Right. But like I understand it to a point of like, okay, well, when people name athletes, they usually just name like the last name. But it's like it doesn't mean they don't have it for like how
Yeah.
I mean, people refer to wrestlers all the time by just like their last name. Like, okay, you know, Cena,
Austin,
Orton,
Flair, Hogan.
right. But it doesn't mean like they shouldn't have a first name. Like
Yeah.
it just it was always like like, and I don't know if it was like a Vince thing where it's like Antonio sounds soft, get rid of it. Like it was always like dumb shit. I don't know. Again, and
I
that's
think
what
you
read on
said
dirt
almost
sheets, but-
exactly that in the original podcast.
Well, then I guess at the point of
You have a
this whole
soft
thing,
first name, pal.
yeah. But so if the whole point of this episode is do we agree with our takes, which it seems that we're getting at, I guess I'll agree with it to an extent, except for the examples I named. But
I don't know about necessarily agree with. Some of them we're just going to laugh at.
well, that's true
Yeah.
too.
And
But
some of them we might cringe at.
But in terms of this, my thoughts on it, I don't think have changed in 9 years. Like, if it makes sense, like something like Elias, it made sense. But like we already said, Matt Riddle, Austin Theory. If you want to go with today's, like I'm shocked they didn't. I mean, like if Seth Rollins debuted like 5 years later, would he have lost the Seth? You know what I mean?
And just been Rollins.
Right?
So-
Like,
So how did he get away with getting something added to his name?
Seth freaking Rollins.
that's a good one.
Which I hope they stop that shit. Stop it. Stop.
I think it's
Stop.
really corny. I get it if like that's, you know, the gimmick, the nickname that you want to throw up on the Titantron and everything else, but I don't understand why the announcers have to say it every fucking time they say his name. Like you could just call him Seth Rollins. We get that he's Seth freaking Rollins because that's
Yeah.
what his screen says, but you don't need to say
Right.
that. Like
Right.
the intro, you want to say it's Seth freaking Rollins. All right, cool. When he's wrestling in the match, he's just Seth Rollins. You don't need to keep the freaking up. Just call him Seth Rollins.
Right.
And when do we get somebody that has the balls to say Seth fucking Rollins?
Yeah, Seth fucking. Didn't he change his Twitter handle to that like one day? He's like, I'm now Seth fucking Rollins or something. I don't even know. And probably not because I feel like that's not allowed.
I wish.
Probably not. But I don't know. It's just like if a dude has a name, I don't know. It's like, you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like sometimes, like if it doesn't make sense, then it, you know, I don't know.
Like,
a lot of times it
there-
doesn't make sense, but
Like,
I remember being mildly annoyed at not just the name drops, but I used to be pretty annoyed at the name changes for a lot of the guys that would come in, like especially from like NXT, and to come in and get a new name. I think
yeah.
that's fucking even worse. But
Mm.
even like the big indie guys
see
like
my
Kevin
intro.
Owens, yeah, like Kevin Owens, Eli Drake's a good example, but like,
Oh no, Max Dupree, remember?
yeah, well, thank God he's not that anymore. At least he's back to being LA
Exactly.
Knight. But
Yeah.
but like back in the day when it was fucking Kevin Steen, Al Generico, I get it. That's like a gimmick, and if you're
Yeah.
not going to put him in the mask, you might as well change his name.
I think Kevin
well,
Steen
but, like-
chose to be Kevin Owens.
Well, are you? Wait,
yeah, but I think he chose that because WWE told him,
Well, I don't. Well, like,
you
so you're
can't
talking. You're
wrestle
talking
under
about
your real name.
You're talking about a guy coming in from the Indies, and the indie name they used all those years. They have to suddenly change it. You mean
Yeah, which they did put an end to after a while. Obviously, we got Adam
that
Cole,
one?
we
I
got
mean,
Kyle
the
O'Reilly,
that
Bobby
only
Fish.
makes sense to me because of the whole intellectual property thing.
Yeah,
Like,
I understood why. It was just annoying to me.
Right.
I just bothered me. But I mean, I guess, especially considering if you try to look at it from both sides, I can kind of understand, because there probably are certain wrestlers who, like, when they make it to WWE, they don't know if it's going to pan out. They don't know if they're going to be used
Right.
correctly and kept
Right.
around. So why build, I guess, the name in WWE that you had this whole time,
True.
if you might not be able to keep it, or if you might have to change things about it later on?
True.
Like, why not
Well,
just
I
come up with
mean,
a new name and then
there,
have your old
there's
brand back?
it's when they do it it's like Kenta. They literally said, "Hey,
Yeah,
this is
that's fucking
Kenta."
weird.
Like they're because like when they do it, they're like, "Yeah, this is Kenta." Not anymore, JK. And then they like change the name.
They
Yeah,
did
they
that.
showed his name on
They
the screen.
they did that with Asuka. They introduced her as Kana.
Mm.
Yeah,
She came out and she was Asuka.
Yeah, sometimes.
Asuka's ready.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean, sometimes that stuff's weird.
It is a tribute, but still.
Yeah, I know. But I don't know. I get why, but I guess from that argument, yeah, you wish guys could just do the same. But from a business part, that's always gonna take over. But it's more so the name change, like with it, like like whether
From
it's
NXT
NXT
to
up
main shows.
or the name drop, like that stuff is like corny. It's like we're already doing
Yeah.
it, so like, what's the point of changing? If you already did the work to build this guy up to the main roster, why change it now?
Like the War Raiders, I remember particularly. Like I understand that. Yeah, I understand that they wanted
that
to
was
change.
so cringe.
It was, and I understand that they wanted to change the name because they didn't want war in the title, and I get that. Like, this is more of your kid audience, even more so than NXT.
But like,
why did you have to change their actual names though?
But like the
Like,
fucking
why couldn't
show
they
was
still
called
just be Eric and Rowan? Like, why'd you have to change them
Yeah.
to what were their
Yeah,
fucking names after that? Like,
I don't know now.
Ivar and
Igor,
and
something.
And apparently Sarah Logan is now Valhalla.
Yeah, I don't
Is
know.
she back? Like back?
Yeah,
back?
she came back.
Oh, okay.
She looks like do either of you know Hellblade's Newest Sacrifice?
No.
I do not.
Never mind. Really good game. But
Hey, do you
anyway.
know this really oddly placed thing that no one's ever heard of?
You guys both play games. I was just
There are dozens of us.
anyway.
I just like fucking with you.
Yeah. All right. Well, I kind of want to move it along, and I have a couple sillier ones here
Yes.
for the next few. The first one I wrote Canyon Cutter Madness.
Who better than Canyon?
Who better than Canyon?
Who better than Canyon?
There was just a brief. I just remember watching a video of just all these random Canyon cutters he would just do for no reason whatsoever.
I was going to say, what was the context of us?
Yeah.
I don't know what the context was. I just remember there's one part where I talk about how it's like a wide shot of outside the building. There's like a security guard far off in the distance. And then all of a sudden, far off in distance, you see Canyon just run up to him and Canyon cutter him and run away.
That's like when Shawn Michaels kicked Stan, who AKA was
much more subtle.
AKA is Sean Stacey, or not Sean Stacey, Sean Spears.
Oh.
Sean Stacey.
I mean, meat.
Yeah.
One, much more subtle. Two, I Kick Stan is one of the greatest segments of all time.
All right, hold on, because I wish Andy were here for this part, because he cracks up every time I talk about this, because I have a whole rant based on that bit, and I love that bit. But here's my problem with that bit. Stan obviously could not have seen it coming. He just asked him his name and then he kicked him in the face. The other guy walking down the other guy walking down the hallway, he probably didn't see it. He's looking at these papers he's carrying. The third guy watched the whole fucking thing and then just stood there in Shawn Michaels' path and had made no attempt to move out of the way, despite watching him super kick two other men.
I will give you
That's my problem with that bit.
I mean, your theory. I mean, your reasoning for that is there's a Twilight Zone episode where
that guy gets out of the way.
Fuck
that! I'm not getting kicked in the face. He just turns around and it's fucking about faces.
There's a Twilight Zone episode. I'm forgetting what shows like the family in an apartment like the future. I think it was like a screen or like a crystal ball or some shit. But it would be one where like there would be a picture of like the guy in the house like laying on the pavement down below. So then the guy would go look out the window and he falls out the window and hits the pavement and dies. And then like it'd be like the same thing. It shows, now two dead bodies, the man and the woman, and the woman sees it, just seeing the man look at this future, fall out the window, and then she falls out the window. And then it's just like this continuous line of everybody falling out the window. It's literally that.
Yeah, it's
like
Shawn Michaels just kicking everybody in the arena.
Like you watch that episode and your theory is like, stop going over there.
Yeah, just get out of his way.
Like you just saw 4 people fall out this same window and you're all stupidly walking up to it. It's
stop
ridiculous.
going over there. Board that door up.
So the next two things I wrote down are just going to deviate into other things, more about talking about the time periods in which I mentioned these. The first one I wrote down is, did Mike sell his iPhone with Flappy Bird on it?
Oh man.
Yo, actually, I think I might still have my iPhone which I think still has Flappy Bird on it.
I mean,
is that still worth money?
I was about to ask the same.
I mean, wow.
That was worth some money for a minute.
Because I remember like the creator of the app like went nuts and like just deleted it or whatever.
Yeah. So if you had it, you were just one of the lucky ones. And I remember people were paying like top dollar for a fucking phone that had a game installed on it.
With Flappy Bird.
Yeah.
Flappy
Bird.
I mean,
Bird's from a different channel.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so obviously, like, there's no bids on stuff like this, but there are people on eBay still trying to get
Flappy Bird phones,
like top dollar for really any device that might have it. Like, where is this? There's one listing, 45,000.
There's been like 50 clones since then.
I might have to delete a few videos off of it, but I think I might have a phone.
Like I don't what is this dude? You said wait, not Flappy Bird. Oh no, you said Flappy Bird.
Oh no.
Shit. This is off the rails now.
Yeah, it's already off the rails. And nobody knows what the fuck we're talking about. We're laughing like idiots at an inside joke that nobody understands.
Headphones dead. For a second. I totally missed the last 5 seconds.
Oh man.
Oh, Skylar's headphones are dead. We can hear him, but he can't hear us.
Oh man.
Let's all talk shit about
it's that damn PlayStation headset. No, man, I don't know what the fuck. What device is this? It's still got the button, obviously. It's like an iPhone.
Wait, what about 4? PlayStation?
I didn't know if your PlayStation headphones were just forever dead or something.
No, they just haven't charged.
Forever alone.
So like this guy's not even like, yeah, man. So people, long story short, people are still trying to sell their devices. This dude is going to fail trying to sell it for $45K though.
I kind of regret not selling my
$45,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Bro, he put rare in the description, so that means it's legit, right?
Holy
very
fuck.
quickly,
$45,000
while you're
for a
looking,
fucking phone.
Like there's no bids. I don't think anyone's like that stupid.
No, there's no fucking way. Holy shit, you just sent this? Hold on. Rare original.
By the way,
45,000.
You can make it, bro. I should offer this guy like $40, $45.
This is ridiculous.
Yeah. There is a best offer option, so we could just make an offer for
$4.50.
Here's your $2.
Yeah, I have $3. It's insane. Isn't Flappy Bird like a fucking Dave and Buster's game at this point, or am I thinking of the wrong game?
I mean, I'm pretty sure there's a bunch of copycats that are available.
Oh, there's
Of
got
course.
there's at least 20 to 50 clones.
Yeah.
Mhm. I can literally play Flappy Bird right now on
Now that having been
on my
said,
browser.
can you see
Look at that. It's right here.
how much does a PS4 with PT go for?
What's PT?
So,
I
Mike, do you know
I
what
know.
PT is?
I'm forgetting what the exact thing. I just remember it's
So,
like some rare demo that became.
Hideo Kojima and Guillermo del Toro were going to make a new Silent Hill game starring Norman Reedus.
I remember this now. Okay.
And it was it was a demo, but some people still say it was like one of the most fucking terrifying things they've ever played.
Is that kind of like how Death Stranding came to be? Because that's a Kojima game, right?
More or less.
Death
Yeah.
Stranding, no fucking.
Because it's just like, well, we have all these assets and everything, and we got Guillermo del Toro and Norman Reedus. I'm a
Was
Hideo
Guillermo-
Kojima.
was Guillermo del
I have
Toro-
some. What?
Was Guillermo del Toro and Guillermo del Toro involved in Death Stranding? I know it was a Kojima game. I didn't know del Toro
They
was involved.
motion captured his body, different voice.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Interesting.
that's a weird one. It's kind of similar
that's a
how
little weird.
Samoa Joe's going to motion capture Sweet Tooth and Twisted Metal show, but Will
How you gonna
Arnett's going to be the
motion
voice.
You have motion capture an ice cream truck?
But yeah, for a while that was kind of like PT, like because they delisted it, so people
Yeah.
were like trying to hawk their.
No,
voice.
yeah, that makes sense. I remember hearing about that.
Some people were
remember
paying
that.
like 1,000 to 2,000, I think. I
Yeah.
had
I remember-
it. I should have done it.
I remember the demo. Like I remember it coming
It
out.
was
and I
just a
remember
demo. That
yeah,
after
and
the
I remember,
demo,
like,
they
seeing-
delisted it.
I think I saw some videos online about
Like
playthroughs
and
shit like
nowadays you
that.
have to, like, if you have something like that, you have to be like insanely careful because like any update will erase it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, true.
Basically, you
it's
can't
on
connect that thing to the internet.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Anyway,
Mhm.
my next note here. Richard Sherman, the greatest intercontinental champion of all time.
Richard Sherman. Oh man. Oh.
What was the context with that one?
Basically, somebody took him saying, I'm the greatest cornerback of all time, all angry after, I
Wow.
want to say it was
Yeah.
one of the playoff games.
That's what happens
Yeah.
when you
It's like in the Legion
when you
of
put a
Boom.
sorry ass receiver like that against me. That's
Yep,
that
yep.
whole
I
little
want to say it was
speech.
Michael Crabtree.
I think it was Crabtree actually.
Yeah. And
There you go.
basically
Which
somebody just
by the
took-
way, remember that year where his rookie year when we were going to this is back when we were going to Michael's every week to watch the games,
Oh, God.
and every week his rookie year, like you would just be like, well, guys, still have just as many catches as Michael Crabtree.
Yeah, because I remember he didn't do shit.
Every game, you would end the game like as soon as the game was over. You would turn around and say it to the table and
He
be like,
didn't-
"Guys, I still have
he
just
didn't
as many
do
catches as
shit.
Crabtree." Well,
He didn't
he
do
held
shit.
out for like half the first for.
Oh,
half
I
of
know.
the
I
game,
know. I
right?
remember it was hysterical.
You're like, dude, you just got drafted to your dream job and you're gonna hold out. Fuck you. I mean, Darrell Revis did too, but I mean, whatever.
Oh, yeah, because he is one of the greatest Jets of all time. Sure.
Well, he also didn't hold out for half the season. He just held out for like preseason, and then
Yeah,
he
well,
he signed before the season started. He probably
Yeah,
just
well-
didn't want to go to training camp.
I want to say Le'Veon Bell basically tops all of them.
Yeah.
But I got
But,
a kick-ass season out of James Conner in the 10th round that year in fantasy.
Boom. But yeah, no, I mean I guess that makes sense. It was right after the playoffs or whatever at
Anyway,
the time.
somebody
Richard Sherman.
superimposed him with
With the Intercontinental title.
I have his back. I have the background right now.
In front of a
Mean Gene.
with Mean Gene.
No.
Yeah, they had
Let me
it
tell
so-
you something, Mean Gene.
So yeah, I don't know. Like I said, some of these are just going to be quick takes.
Yeah.
And also remember the Legion of Boom.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, they were
Fun
good
times.
for a little bit. They were all on Adderall, but they made it work.
Whatever.
it's a
At
little
least
double.
they weren't taking bounties.
Veering back to wrestling.
Talk about other NFL scandals. Let's just go into like a whole
Wrestling.
list of like NFL scandals now. Remember
We
when
can
this
do that
happened?
podcast.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you mean is DeMar Hamlin a clone?
What? Is that a thing? Are people saying
Please
that
don't tell
now?
me that's the thing.
Big conspiracy.
Oh, for
Get the fuck out of here, man.
Look
The
at
dude- come on.
look it up on your own.
Nope.
That's
oh
all.
I'm
my
done. Good
god.
night, folks. I'm done.
I don't want to live on this planet anymore.
The world is a stage.
Yeah, apparently so. Like, come on, dude. Like the dude just had a fucking heart attack on the field, and now you're gonna be like, nah, man, this is a clone. that's not even the real guy, bro.
Because it
All
was
right,
snowing and the cameras couldn't get a clear shot. That was half the shit.
I'm-
but anyway, Google it on your own
I'm gonna
time,
cut you
folks.
off and move on because I'm tired of
No, go
this
ahead.
world.
Go ahead. I don't wanna live on this
Bully
planet
Ray's
anymore.
rise to heeldom.
Wow, that was the thing then, huh?
Yeah, that was when he was starting to actually really make a name for himself as a singles guy, like a main event singles guy.
Which is it's crazy because um like we never got that out of Devon, obviously.
Well, Devon
But
was in Aces and Eights.
yeah, but like he was never the main event guy that
Oh,
Bully
no,
Ray
no,
was for a
no.
while, is what I'm saying. So it's kind of crazy that like he spent, these two guys, they spent their whole careers together basically, and then Bubba, Bully, whatever you want to call him, he manages to go have like kind of renaissance in in Impact, TNA Impact. I think it was still TNA at the time, was it, or was it just Impact? But yeah, so
I don't even
back
know.
in Impact,
He's in
whatever.
Impact right now, though.
Yeah.
Is he? Is he like back in now? Is he?
He's
He's not.
Tommy
He's not
Dreamer.
working,
It's
is
like,
he?
what?
He's not working, is he?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think he had a world title shot or
Yeah.
has one.
Get the fuck out of here!
And he's
Like,
feuding
my
with
God.
Tommy Dreamer because just some things can't be let go.
Wow.
And yes, Tommy Dreamer's still around too.
Well, Tommy Dreamer books for them, so it like doesn't surprise me that he puts himself on TV once in a while just to keep himself relevant. But
Right.
Yeah, but
But
yeah, that was quite the
no,
ride.
listen. I mean, yeah. I mean, it worked at the time for what they were doing.
By the way, I just want to point out that I find it kind of hilarious that for Bully Ray, Jeff Hardy, and Christian were all TNA champions.
Yep.
Actually, Matt Hardy was too at some point, but that was later. I don't know. I just found that kind of an amusing little fact that three halves of three of the greatest tag teams of all time.
Yeah, which is pretty funny.
Let me move on to another one. This one is Skylar saying Dean Ambrose and Bray Wyatt would be the next great heels. So I'm just gonna say flat out, I don't think Dean Ambrose actually has, outside of the original Shield, had a good heel run.
No. Well, because all that stuff up to like him leaving wasn't good.
No,
now-
both of his heel runs while he was a singles guy just didn't stick.
No,
And it's funny because I remember like not I figured it would be different, but I remember like when he was like, oh, when he because he was one of those first guys that left WWE when like as AEW was starting, and I remember like being like whatever. But then like obviously in the last like 3+ year, whatever it's however long it's been that AEW's been around, I'm like, oh John Moxley's really fucking good if you let him just do his thing.
Yeah.
So like the Dean Ambrose stuff then, and it's funny you say it because like just seeing what it was, I was like, it is what it is.
But I
Yeah,
remember
he had a couple of disappointing runs, unfortunately, because I was always a big Dean Ambrose fan.
Yeah.
Like, we did the whole like the Fat Shield gimmick with you being Seth, me being Dean, and Anthony being Roman. Like that, like I always liked Dean. I always thought that Dean was especially when the Shield first broke out. I thought obviously he got the most talking time. Like he was the promo guy to start.
he absolutely was the best promo guy by a long shot.
Which I still
at the
think
time,
At the time.
I
Now
still
he's
think
still
he's up
great,
there.
but
No, now he's still there, but
but they're all up there. They're honestly
Right.
they're all up there now.
Yeah.
And I mean Seth probably was pretty decent then too. But
Right.
and then Roman just all he had to say was believe in the Shield, and that's all he was there for. But I was a big fan of Dean because I found him just so entertaining, and like his facial expressions, his movements in the ring. I just thought he was the most entertaining guy in the group. And then
I agree.
like I kind of thought Seth was like the most talented guy in the group, but I thought Dean was the most entertaining. And then Roman, we all kind of knew was like this is going to be like the future superstar that they're going to build. Especially later on into the Shield, once it became more obvious.
So my initial thoughts were when the Shield debuted that Seth Rollins, I kind of knew a little bit about Tyler Black. Not too much, but I'd seen like, clips here and there.
I saw him doing moonsaults off a fat guy.
There you go. I felt like he was going to be like the next Jeff Hardy kind of. They
Yeah.
went way
That's fair.
well beyond that.
Well, to be fair, Jeff Hardy was supposed to go way well beyond that too, but he couldn't stop getting arrested.
Very true.
He
You know,
did
I mean,
get
they tried
there.
putting the belt on him numerous times, and every time they put the belt on him, he would find a way to fuck up.
Mhm.
No,
And
the first time he fucked up. The other times he left the company.
Yeah, and then what happened? He fucked up.
He fucked up.
God.
God. Damn it, Jeff. What we're talking
Then
about?
he went to,
again?
and
Okay,
then he
yeah,
went to,
so
and then he went to
I thought-
AEW, and guess what happened? He fucked up.
Mm.
I love Jeff, and I
Um,
know you love Jeff too. And I don't mean to be like beating down on him because I know he's your favorite. It just sucks because I think he does have so much wasted talent, wasted potential that
Yeah.
we could have gotten to seen a lot more from Jeff Hardy throughout the years if he was able to just make better decisions. And
I
granted,
100% agree.
it's you know, it's easier said than done. People have their issues. People need to fight their fights, but I feel
I
like
mean-
he's just had so many chances, and to keep reverting back is just like, dude, how much help do you need? You know?
Without going into much detail, I myself have not or never been an addict, but having been close to one for an extended period of time kind of makes me see the Jeff Hardy thing a lot differently.
That's
and
fair.
I'm just gonna leave it at that.
No, that's fair.
Makes
That's
sense,
completely
yeah.
fair.
Anyway, so Dean Ambrose, I felt like was supposed to break out as the next biggest maniacal heel, especially because in the beginning it felt like that they were trying to establish him as the leader, kind of. Because remember, Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns won the tag titles while Dean Ambrose won the U.S. title and then defended it twice
In forever.
And I was
Yes.
at one of those defenses. That was the
Yes.
that was the random Raw that me and Anthony went to, and then the Shield came down, and Dean was defending the U.S. title, and me and Anthony like fucking
Wow.
like our heads exploded. We were like, "Holy shit, we're gonna see a U.S. title match! What is this?
crazy.
What's going on?"
And then Reigns, they eventually
Yeah.
wanted to be the guy.
Yeah.
But
I'm curious. I'm curious if he'll ever be heel in AEW at some point. I imagine he would be,
I
Yeah.
but
think
maybe not.
I think he's too and I mean, I guess anything can happen in wrestling, and there's always ways to kind of
Hulk Hogan turned heel, brother.
Yeah,
He-
there's always ways to write around shit.
basically, if he just
But I feel
does
like
his
his
gimmick
gimmick-
now against faces
Yeah,
that are
that's
hard
true.
to choose,
I mean that is true, but I also feel like
Gotta be
the
more to
problem
it.
with that is that his whole gimmick is based on him being a badass, and that is why people love him, is because he portrays this huge badass who like comes off very legitimate. Like John Moxley comes off, and this is a huge compliment in wrestling, in my opinion. But like, he comes off legitimate. He comes off as a guy who, if you bumped into at the bar and didn't want to say sorry or whatever like that, like me or whatever, and he gets in your face, like, that's a dude that you don't want to fuck with, because like, he seems like a guy who
Yeah.
can fuck you up like legitimately, and that's what you want in a guy like that. And on top of that, I think between that and him kind of doing the whole almost kind of Austin-ish shtick, where he's kind of like the the
Anti-hero.
anti-hero, yeah, like the
Mm.
anti-hero kind of type of guy, where it's just like, hey, I don't need you to cheer for me. He's like, it's
True.
great, he's not putting anybody down, but at the same time, like, he's kind of just like, I'm gonna do my thing, and I'm gonna kick some people's fucking teeth in, and there's nothing anybody's gonna do about it. Not
Yeah, that's
you,
true.
not them. You know what I mean? So like,
we see how the Austin heel runs
exactly,
went.
like, it's kind of hard to put a guy who works like
True.
that into a
Yeah.
situation where he's going to be the bad guy. And I
Yeah.
mean, Austin was even a little easier because they got to take the cheap way out and have him, join WCW and do the shit with Kurt Angle and yada
Yeah.
yada yada.
That's true.
But which, how funny is that like that whole Invasion angle, Kurt was the face and Austin was like the heel. And I
until
think
towards
that's
the
just-
end.
Until towards the
Right.
end, and then obviously Angle switched sides, which who didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
But
Got us again.
yeah.
So I'm first off, let me just say, okay, Dean Ambrose, next great heel, did not pan out.
No,
Next great superstar, yeah, or
it
wrestler,
has
yeah,
now. Yeah.
quite panned out.
Yeah.
He's doing quite all right for himself.
Yes.
I would say John
Um,
Moxley is
but
definitely
Bray
one of
Wyatt.
the bigger draws in wrestling.
Now Bray Wyatt, that's a tricky one
It is
Well,
a tricky
because
one.
I mean,
because it's either they booked him to just lose and with his credibility with it, or they booked the Fiend. Enough said. and then had him get pinned and lose credibility.
Can I have a hot take now that I'm not really crazy about the Fiend?
Really?
I think we've
We probably have, but I'm also just not a fan of like building up this big monster undefeated. How are you going to beat this guy? Because like they have to lose at some point, and
then
those
you feed
gimmicks
him to Goldberg.
exactly, and then
if it
those
was to
gimmicks
anyone
kind of
else besides Goldberg,
right.
It would have been
Like I
great.
feel
Could've
like
made
I feel like I don't even need to see Bray Wyatt wrestle, to be honest. Like the shit he's been doing now with LA Knight for the past like however long has been everything about it. Everything has been great. And I know he's slowly building up his stable, but not that I dislike the Fiend character. I think it's more I'm not a fan of build up this unbeatable monster just because you have to beat him and feed him to Goldberg.
And feed him to Goldberg.
But I don't know. I just Bray Wyatt as far as a heel, it's tough because of what he does. Like how it's almost similar to Moxley in a way of like, well, he's just kind of playing a character. He's just kind of here. Like why? It's like almost not the same, but sort of.
So
is it defined? You're not. You're not wrong. You're not right. Like it's like weird. You're not wrong, but you're not correct on either. I don't know.
Yeah. I do want to say, did you watch Raw 30?
I watched
Raw is porn.
I watched
Raw is porn.
Raw.
Oh yeah, because it had the XXX.
Yeah. I watched the
Raw
opening.
Porn.
Did you
the
see
opening segment? But that's it.
You didn't see? Okay, first off, you did not see the triumphant return of Biker Taker.
I did not, but
I saw it on I saw it on Twitter today.
Well, I saw the memes of that, and then like the one I sent.
I wanted to text
du
Dennis
Frema.
immediately. But yeah,
you've done it now.
Yeah, wait. Well, what music did he come out to?
Came out to American Badass. He came out to Kid Rock.
Okay.
So, but at the end of it,
Roland was better.
Basically, LA Knight was walking out of the ring while Taker was in there, but then Bray Wyatt comes up behind him. He runs back into the ring. Taker's choking him. Then he throws him into Wyatt, whose sister Abigail's him. But then Undertaker like whispers something, and they like Wyatt and Taker have a stare down. Like Wyatt's not flinching, and then Taker like whispers something in Wyatt's ear, and then just leaves, and everyone.
Omelette du fromage.
Well, apparently,
omelette du fromage.
Apparently, the thing now is like Taker told Vince, "Fucking take care of him," because I guess Taker's like a really big fan of him, and why not? He's trying to go for that character.
Yeah, right.
No, I think Taker's been on. No, I think Taker, and that might be a reason why Taker didn't come out as like the creepy fuck, because if Bray's coming out and he's a creepy fuck,
right?
Then he retired. Then like that character, if he's going to make appearances,
he's like, I'm wearing jeans, brother.
I'm gonna just be mean, Mark Calloway.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever. I'm like okay with that.
But I
thought that's what was going to happen when I heard the gong.
Yeah. I think Taker's been on record for a little while now of kind of being a fan of Bray Wyatt and kind of being a fan of that whole supernatural gimmick.
And
he's been doing all of obviously. Like all the stuff that Bray's done. I mean, granted, you guys were just talking about your distaste for the Fiend, but like you gotta. No, well, Mike was. I'm sorry.
No,
but
I mean, I just have my reasons. Not that I hate the character. Oh yeah, just drag Skylar under with me.
No, I agree with the booking aspect though.
Yeah, no, the booking was terrible. We can all agree on that. But like
the character, the presentation, all of that was fucking fantastic.
Except the stupid lights. I was never a fan of that.
Okay, the red lights during the matches thing that can.
No, that was stupid. But I had the same argument when Sin Cara was a thing. I said the same thing. I was like Sin Cara's been a jobber for like 6 months. Why do we still have a stupid blue and yellow lighting?
I hated that,
especially because he was still jobbing. Like they would do that fucking lighting, and he would come out and lose. Like, what the fuck are we doing the lighting for?
It sounds very WWE audience of me because that's like the whole thing. But like, I just never knew of Sin Cara prior, and I didn't care at the time.
I mean,
nobody did. That's why he failed.
Mystico.
Yeah, but I'm saying like the majority of the WWE audience did not, and they did not care.
I fully say I don't really watch like New Japan and stuff. So like a lot of those guys, except for like the main ones, but a lot of those like kind of under guys, I just do not know. Okay. And I know when Sin Cara came, I'm sure like a lot of people that might watch Lucha Libre or Mexican wrestling may have knew him, but like I'm just like I I don't know, and I kind of don't care.
Here's
He
the
also
thing.
botched everything, and that's why he lost his
Well,
spot in the first place, and they gave it to
He was just
Muto or
Ultimo
whatever.
Dragon at
Yeah,
So
Ultimo Dragon at Mania
Ultimo
20.
Dragon.
So the reason he was such a big deal to sign was because he was a megastar in Japan.
He was Mexico's Kenta. You know, like Kenta was the biggest
Right.
thing in Japan.
But like, I'll up
and
Mexico
then
was the
they were
biggest thing in
trying. That was during the time where they were trying to like bring in Del Rio and
Right.
like all these guys to get that audience.
Well, I'll even say
You know.
like I didn't, but like right, and that's different. Like I didn't know Andrade from anything, but he was fucking awesome in NXT.
Oh no,
so
I watched
so-
some
right, but that's it.
Lisandra,
But
and he was
that
awesome.
right, but that's an example of like, oh, I've never seen this guy, but he's awesome. Versus, oh, Sin Cara, I've never seen this guy. Oh yeah, and, oh you're fine. I don't give a shit.
Andrade, I still say Andrade versus Johnny Gargano was one of the best
brother,
matches I think I've ever seen. Like, and I know you were there for it, man.
Yeah,
it's incredible because I remember watching that match with Jake when I lived with him, and like both of us, like we thought it was. And I know we've talked about this before. Like we thought it was over so many times, and they got us so many times. And like you know, I wrestled for 6 years. Jake wrestled for about like 2 or 3. Like we kind of usually have a good grasp of when it's actually getting taken home. Like even with the false finishes, like they, you know, it's hard to get me on some of these most of the false finishes. Like even the matches where they hit their finisher, I'm usually pretty aware of like, this isn't it, or this is it. They got me so many times in that fucking match. I could not believe it. Like how many times they had me hook, line, and sinker. Like I thought it was over.
I'm going to move on to my next one here. I mean, I don't know how much I really feel like talking about this. I wrote down Hulk Hogan in TNA and then returned to WWE.
There's like, I don't know. I mean, I don't even know what we said at the time about it, but I mean, we don't. Do
Probably
we need
that
to
he
say
was ruining it?
Yeah, I was like, why is he gonna? Who gives a shit?
Yeah. All right, let's move on.
Talk about Vince Russo while we're at it.
Oh yeah, no, I think that might be in here somewhere.
Bro. I mean, as a guy who says bro a lot, Vince Russo says bro way too much, bro.
Yes. I wrote down Bob Backlund and Ric Flair outliving us all.
Bob Backlund, this is a true story, and Mike can confirm. Bob Backlund put me in the crossface chicken wing, so that is a fact. I've been in the crossface chicken wing from the man himself.
That is pretty cool.
I got a picture of it somewhere, but I'm not going to look for it now.
I don't know. I'm not sure what we were talking about there. I think we were just talking about old
wrestlers living for like, and it's so funny because like with like that's not the gimmick at all. Like that is quite the contrary of most wrestlers. Obviously, unfortunately,
I just watched that Ric Flair documentary on Peacock. So like he's literally survived a plane crash, being struck by lightning.
He was struck by lightning?
Yep.
Yeah. I didn't know that.
No, it's like no, it's nuts. And then like all the medical shit like recently, like I saw like it was bad.
Yeah.
Like when he like no, all that stuff, right? So the fact that he's essentially he's just wrestling. He's like Keith Richards.
Yes.
That's because they're basically both pickles now. Like they're just so fucking like
I mean Keith Richards even more impressive. Clearly,
Keith Richards. This is my favorite Keith Richards story, and I'm not a Rolling Stones fan at all. But my favorite Keith Richards story is that he snorted his dad. His dad was cremated. He took his dad's ashes, mixed it with some coke, and snorted his dad.
To be fair, I told you what I want done with me, right?
You want us to snort your ashes, or you want us to mix you in some milk and drink you like Nesquik?
No, the first one.
like in South Park, and then your soul will be trapped in our bodies.
This isn't South Park. No, I want to be cremated, and just some of my ashes I want smoked in a blunt.
Oh, I don't know. We'll see how it goes, but not that I want you to die before me, but
yeah, but you know, shit happens.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get to basically this is the end of the first retro episode.
All right.
And I feel like this one might get a little lengthy. Let me just read the entire thing that I wrote down. The WWE Network begins. It's Christmas morning for Mike, who started to the computer like Vince McMahon. CJ called out of work, and it was a disaster. Didn't have to deal with cable companies. Whoops.
That is a fact.
Yeah, I remember day one. It sucked.
I remember
We were talking
called
about
out it.
what a mess it was to try to actually get it to work, and like
You
not
couldn't.
everything was there. And
No.
after the fact, they added the markers.
I remember the day it came out. I had to work a double. I had to work my shift and I had a swap partner. I had to work his shift, and there it is. There's the picture. That should be the thumbnail for this episode, by the way.
I'll make it happen.
Agreed.
I remember I called out of work for my shift because I worked the morning 7 to 3. I still had to go in 3 to 11, and I was just like, man, I'm gonna call out. I'm gonna sign up for this network, and I'm gonna watch some fucking wrestling before work. And I could not get on. I couldn't even. Yep, they wouldn't even let me put my fucking credit card information in because the site was crashing that hard. Like I could not even log in. And
we were saying stuff like they didn't do a beta.
So mad.
They should have done a pre-order. They should have started at midnight so people sporadically signed up throughout the night.
Yeah, they did it at like, it went live at like 9 in the morning, right? Yeah.
Go.
Yep.
I remember I think I was off from work too, and same shit.
Yep.
But at the same time, we were talking about
I had to go to work all pissed
how
off.
we basically got our Netflix of wrestling and how we got this treasure trove for $9.99 a month, and we were able to watch it on 5 devices that were just in our peripheral vision.
A PlayStation, no, 4 was out at the time.
Nope, you said 3.
Oh man, maybe I didn't have a PS4 yet. It was 20.
I don't think PS4 was
actually
out at
no.
the time.
I think you had both hooked up at the time.
Was it holidays of 14 that PS4 came out?
I want to say yes. Yes.
Along with Grand Theft Auto 5.
Mm-hmm. No. GTA 5 came out.
I think hasn't that been on 3 consoles?
Real quick, Mike, I'm looking at these pictures you sent, and you just have to like definitely poorly being the key word, Photoshop Skylar into them, both of them, and they'll both be thumbnails at some point.
Sounds like a challenge.
Emphasis on the poorly, by the way.
Just
Like it needs to be very clearly like he was cut out of MS DOS Paint and then just glued on.
I'll figure it out. So, dude, Bob Backlund's if he wanted to.
By the way, I'll say this about Bob Backlund's chicken wing, and he wasn't light with it. Like he definitely he slapped it on me to let me know that like I felt it, and like he put it on me, and I remember he started wrenching just like right before they took the picture. As if anybody if we actually post this picture up and you get to see it, you could see my face in it, and
I'll put it on
selling,
the Instagram.
right? I'm selling.
It's up there now.
Right when that picture was taken, he just gave the slightest little lift right up under the shoulder. That face is legit. Like I'm definitely
but he's hurting.
That man can still lock in the chicken wing. I will say that. At least he could in 2012 or whatever the year this was.
Yeah, what are our thoughts though about this service that kind of revolutionized the wrestling business a little bit?
Amazing. Like because if you wanted, we had Netflix at the time, we had streaming services, but I think this was sort of the start of like a niche stuff.
Yeah.
Like it's not just like random movies. It's not like it was a step forward. It was almost like they were streaming out, but they knew like people want to watch this shit. People don't want to buy $20 DVDs anymore, or $15 DVDs anymore.
$60 pay-per-views.
Yeah, that right. I think right. I honestly I forget.
Just for the pay-per-views alone, just being able to watch the new ones. I'm not even talking about the library, but just being able to watch live pay-per-views for only $10 a month just was worth it in of itself, because I no longer had to pay $60 if I wanted to watch it at home in the comfort of my own home, and I no longer had to go to Buffalo Wild Wings to eat a bunch of shitty food. So it's a win-win in my opinion.
Hey, it was good shitty food.
Hey, don't make fun of the Big Jack Daddy burger.
The Big Jack I still have never tried that.
I mean, I
can
feel like
I get the chocolate cake?
I feel like I wouldn't eat that now, but yeah.
I still love how when I said I'll buy a round of beer if Jeff Hardy won the title at Extreme Rules, and he did, and I bossed around, and then CM Punk came and cashed out. Like, well,
round still stands. Round still stands.
Round still stands.
But
for the straight edge guy coming out.
It still blows my mind today that like the paper, like even though almost a decade later, it's still the same format, and they haven't gone back on like the pay-per-views are still going to cost you extra, or like the fact that I mean, like the Royal Rumble is this weekend, but like I don't have you mean I don't have to pay $50-$60 to watch this? It's just streaming.
Yep.
I think when it first came out, I was under the impression, and I don't know why I was under this impression, but I remember thinking that like there's no way that they're just going to give us all of the pay-per-views for free. I was like, they'll probably still charge for, and I figured they would still charge for the big four. I was like, they'll probably still charge for SummerSlam, Mania, Rumble, and Survivor Series. And no, I was wrong. Like everything was included, and I was like shocked by that. And I remember like when we did our test run and like when NXT was crashing and had all those problems, and we were all talking about like, oh shit, Mania's a month away.
Yes,
these guys need to get their shit together.
They did.
Yep. They did. Even though it froze up a little bit a couple times, I think.
It wasn't terrible.
But we had that was the year I did the watch party at my house, at my parents' house, and everyone came over to watch it. And I remember thinking the whole time, I was like, man, if this shit just freezes and I have like 15 people over my house,
I mean, what are you gonna do?
What are we gonna do?
So I have two vivid memories from that watch along. One, the whole room popping their ass off when Cesaro picked up Big Show and just slammed him out of the ring.
Yeah. That was huge. That was a huge moment for the room. I remember there was certain things in the room that like literally got the whole room and we all.
Gee, I wonder what the other one is.
Oh, I wonder too. Oh,
the dead silence from Undertaker losing the streak. Immediately followed by
we all went. Was that a fast count? Are they gonna?
Did they fuck up?
Are they gonna restart the mat?
We literally all looked at each other, and I remember I don't think anybody said anything for like the
except
first
Hooten, John
like
Hoot,
15-20 seconds.
Hoot stood up, said, "Fuck this, I'm out of here," and left.
He left. He was like, "Fuck that."
Like the whole reason I was here was to see Undertaker.
Yeah, and he lost.
But the rest of us were just stunned. We were all that black dude staring.
Yep, with the fucking bug out eyes. Yeah, we were all literally
that is crazy. He's still
a meme.
Yeah, today.
Yeah. I mean, that was an all-time classic face. That was like, if you're a cameraman in a wrestling show and you're looking for good crowd reactions, that might be probably like top 3 crowd reactions of all time.
Where do you place the Miz girl?
The Miz girl?
The girl that looks like so.
Oh, angry Miz girl. Yeah, angry Miz girl. I mean, I think she's up there in memeable crowd reactions for sure. She's up there. The chick that Triple H got to take her off her top, like that's a pretty big moment that WWE tried to scrub for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Also pretty funny.
I do want to address the last thing that I wrote, which kind of also deals with how the service evolved. Didn't have to deal with cable companies. Whoops.
Yep.
Hi, Peacock.
Now we're right back to it. Yeah, I mean, but at the same time, it's
still different.
It's a little different.
It's a little different. It's not like it's on cable television.
It's also still streaming, which is cool because you can still go back and watch stuff, even though they scrubbed like a third of it.
Yeah, then actually they're removing a lot of indie content now too.
Are they? It's probably just not getting enough watches.
Progress off. They're taking ICW off, ICW.
What about Evolve?
Yeah, I said that's the first thing I said.
Oh, I didn't hear that. I'm sorry. I heard ICW and whatever else.
So
that sucks because it's funny and I haven't watched it in forever now, but before I moved, actually while I was still living with Jake, I think I was starting to get into the Evolve stuff. I was just watching some of the old Evolve shows. And it was pretty cool because like they'd have like guys who I kind of knew from later from NXT and even AEW now. There's a couple guys that were on those Evolve shows that are there now. But they also had like certain NXT guys who were there come back. So like Daniel Bryan came back for a match. Matt Riddle came back for a match.
Getting like a Progress title match.
Yeah. I think I'm trying to think if that might have even been the same show where Matt Riddle came back because I think like they were both on one of the shows together. But and that was after they had already obviously been in NXT and stuff. Like I don't think Riddle was on the main roster yet, but I think he was in NXT at the time. That was pretty cool stuff, though. The Evolve stuff. There were some pretty cool names on, like Josh Briggs, for instance. I think Josh Briggs is an awesome dude. What Where is he now? Is he
He's AEW, right?
he's AEW, right?
think so.
I wasn't sure if it was AEW or Impact because I haven't fucking watched recently, but
I think.
I
don't know.
I know he's somewhere. I know he's been on TV, but I think it is AEW. Isn't he? He's with a stable, but then again, who in AEW isn't? So
It's like New Japan. You
Yeah.
got to be affiliated with someone.
yep, it's crazy.
So,
But yeah,
any more thoughts on the network?
it's been
Honestly,
great. I mean, it's been nothing but positive. It's just, it's just, I don't know. It's like any other streaming thing that you have, it's all your stuff's there for you. It's
Yeah.
I do kind of
Like-
wish it was still its own app, but
so
Yeah.
no, well,
paying
outside of
basically the same to
I
have
mean,
Peacock
outside of the
included.
US, it is.
Yeah, I know.
Well, give me
Well,
Peacock over it because it's the same price and it's more content, or cheaper if you get the ad version of Peacock. So,
Right.
it's if anything, the move to Peacock's been good for the consumer.
Yeah. Once they kind of got the kinks out.
Yeah. Well, I was excited. I almost sort of didn't care. I was excited it was switching because of all the other crap that Peacock has. But
So I
but
do
this
have a-
it's been great. Yeah.
I do have a bunch more stuff. So that was basically covers the first retro episode. I do have a bunch more stuff. I don't know if you want to make this a two-parter, if you want to keep going for a little bit.
What time is it? It is 11:40. I mean, we could cover some more next week. I mean, how?
Oh my god, 11:40.
Oh, for some people,
Mr.
it's not.
fucking I'm moving.
Listen.
You know what? Fuck Maine. I'm moving out west.
Yeah, move out west. I
want to be able to talk to you fuckers back on the us fuckers back on the East Coast and be like,
if you want, I mean, if you want the cold, just go to like Montana or the Dakotas or something. That's west.
I won't
go
go to
live in
North Dakota.
Fargo.
I don't see a reason to go to North Dakota.
Minnesota.
Oh yeah, I'll go to Minnesota.
You see,
America's
fucking-
Canada.
I saw a meme, and I apologize to you Giant fans. I know you guys must be a little disheartened that you guys are out of the playoffs this year. But if anything positive came out of it, I saw a meme on Twitter the other day after they lost, which I thought was really funny, where it was just like, shit, who'd they play this past weekend?
The Eagles.
The Eagles, yeah. So it was just like the meme basically was just like, this is the same Giants team that lost or that beat, and then it was just like the video of Joe Biden just screaming Minnesota like real loud to the mic.
So, Mike, let's address this real quick. Since we don't have any sports podcasts left.
Go on.
All I'm just gonna say is, I am proud of the Giants. I'm pissed at the way the season ended. No. What I mean is if we at least were competitive
Put up
and
a fight.
lost, it'd been like, all right, well, the fact that we didn't show up.
I mean, the Bills didn't put up a fight, and they were supposed to win
Yeah,
the
what
Super
the
Bowl.
fuck?
So there's that.
The
But
screenwriters
the
fucked
Bills.
up on that one.
but yeah, I don't know. I mean, listen,
that,
it is
Other than that,
It's
I'm the most
fine.
optimistic as a Giants fan as I've been in years.
in a long time, in a decade.
Just gotta
Facts.
figure out what to do with Jones and Barkley, really.
They'll
I have
figure it out.
I have two words. Sauce Gardner. That is
If
all.
he is not defensive rookie of the year, I'll riot.
I got 3 words for you. Where's the wrestling?
There it
Okay.
is.
Anyway, I just wanted to get that out of my system.
No, fair.
Yeah.
I agree.
Sorry for you boys.
I'll do a few more and see how we
Yeah.
feel. Because some of these are pretty quick. The first one I wrote was Skyler mastered the 420. CJ did not get that.
I don't smoke.
CJ didn't get that at first.
Okay, hold on. Can I
And
tell you
now
guys that when
he
I
is a
listened to this,
disciple.
when I listened to this episode in the car, I laughed my ass off during that part. I heard that come on. And it was like, whatever. Skylar 420 said whatever your fucking tagline was, and I was just like, what? It just completely went over my head. Which is, I don't even know how that went over my head
It's
even back then.
hilarious.
But I think it's hilarious. It is. It's funny,
And now you're a
especially-
disciple of the 420.
especially since CJD 420 means I just smoked your ass. There you go.
There you go. I just wanted to bring that up because I just found that kind of amusing and slightly heartwarming for personal reasons.
It's very funny.
Also, Skylar sounded like Batman a week prior.
Hi, everybody.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
This
yeah.
is
I was
Batman.
only able to talk like this.
Yep. Now I remember addressing that as well.
Hi, Batman.
I am
Yeah.
Batman.
Let's see. A wrestling one. I wrote Jack Swagger beats cashes in on Jericho for the title. Flying shoe. They're allies now, and Jack Swagger was arrested for pot.
Yeah, that all of that happened.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that. It's just like, oh yeah, he fucking beat Jericho for the world title,
mhm.
and now in
Whoops.
AEW they've basically been at the hip since the company started.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know, man. It's like looking like what he does now is cool, but like looking back at the Jack Swagger stuff, aside from when he was with Cesaro. Yeah, okay. I'm so happy when I looked back on my screen, everyone.
That's
Everyone
just
just
bad creative.
We the people.
Remember Jericho just trashed that on the first
Yeah.
Dynamite?
Well, that's Jericho's shtick.
Yeah,
since
and then they
AEW.
came and
That
then
was
they
a
came
bad
face,
gimmick from bad creative.
yeah. And then when they came face to face in Blood and Guts, and then the crowd chanted it. We chanted "We the People" when they were going at it.
We
So
the people.
So that's why, yeah, I mean, it's funny looking back and like Jack Swagger was going to be world champ, and it's like I guess it would make sense more so now than then looking back.
Well,
Isn't
I feel
it
like
kind
he
of
was going to
funny?
beat Del Rio at WrestleMania, but then got arrested for having pot in the car. And
Yep.
what would that mean these days?
Probably
Not much.
a lot less.
Yeah.
Probably,
Well,
they probably look at you and be like, "You dumbass, fine you," and move on.
considering
Here,
what
it basically
I mean,
probably cost him a world title run.
yeah, considering what
Look
Del
at what
Rio,
it did. Look what happened to RVD.
yeah. Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
there
Well,
was more
that was
stuff in
even
there.
further back. But now I feels like Del Rio has been a much worse person, if I have that right.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
who gives a shit about him?
Exactly.
Nowadays, you have Randy Orton, literally Randy Orton, talking about smoking weed during the show.
Mm.
Oh, but he worst kept secret that dude loves to smoke.
And I think that's granted. Everybody knows that, but like, I just think it's funny that it's now a joke on the show because he said it to Riddle when they were doing the RK Bro thing. He's just like, "You're not the only one who partakes or whatever." Whatever the
Yeah.
line was that he said to him, he said something that basically was just like, "Yeah, I smoke too."
Yeah.
I miss RK.
Which because everybody knows Riddle smokes even more than everybody knows Randy.
Well,
smokes.
that is his
Wow.
gimmick.
Yep.
But no, I think it was a worst kept secret that Randy Orton loves the Jiva outside of her. Well, I think for the longest time, what it was is they couldn't. All they could do was fine them for having pot in their system, so a lot of people just considered it the pot tax.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know if that's still the policy, but I
I
remember
think
there was
it's
a
kinda
time where I
like,
think it
don't
was
be egregious about it, and we'll just look.
don't show up to work fucking stoned off your ass.
But basically,
Yeah,
like
right.
what you do on your free, I think it's like what you do on your free time, whatever.
Yeah.
As long as you're not getting in
it's fair.
trouble.
Yeah,
Anyway.
don't get pulled over.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true.
Don't get pulled over with hacksaw Jim Duggan
So the next
and a suitcase full of coke.
So here we go. The New Bloated Outlaws versus the Usos, who might have a title run in their future.
You know, the Usos are starting
Man.
to look pretty good right now.
We
I
got
gotta
that.
say.
We got that one right.
Look at
Kind
that.
of nailed that beyond your wildest expectations.
Did
Oh,
we
yeah.
nail it, or was it just that obvious?
I mean, man, I don't think it was
Well,
at
they
the
were
time.
definitely going to win the titles. I didn't think
Yeah.
that they were basically going to unify the brand titles.
they were
and have
gonna-
the
you could-
longest reign in history.
The fact
well,
that they're
also-
in the conversation for like, best tag team like
Yeah.
of all
of the
time at
past
this
like
point.
decade. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
at least of the last decade. I
Plus,
would
don't
say.
forget, I think at that time they were still, kind of, the Island Boy type deal.
Yeah.
Then they did
The
that
Island Boys?
fucking turn. What?
Those guys suck. Those guys
Exactly.
are terrible. The Island Boys.
Mid-Island boy.
Ooh,
Ask me my favorite Island Boys song.
But
What's your
I
favorite
don't-
island
I-
voice?
I don't fucking know any Island Boys songs.
all I'm gonna say is that the Usos are one of the greatest character reinventions in the history of wrestling, because as soon as they just kind of were more or less themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean that's true for everybody. Look at New Day.
As one of them
Look at-
put it, they went from being they all right to having match of the night every night, and for a while they were.
Yeah. I mean,
So I think that one was
I look
nailed.
back at the Usos and I can't help but think every time I think of the Usos, I can't help but think of the New Day. And I can't think of how both of those teams managed to like basically kind of come up from nothing in a way. Like,
Yeah.
not to say that they were nothing, not
Yeah.
to say that they were bad wrestlers, but I just feel like at the time there was probably a long time where I feel like the WWE didn't know what to do with the Usos.
Mhm.
I felt like what they tried to do with New Day at first was terrible, and I think that they smartly corrected that and kind of as you said before, let them be themselves and just kind of run with their own kind of version of the gimmick. But both of those teams, I think, over the last like decade or so,
So
have just been, on like it's crazy how much I feel like that they've improved and just become like who they are, and that is two of the best tag teams in the world, in my opinion.
so
The
I don't know
I'm
if you
sorry,
know
but let's
recent-
just say the Usos. I know it's a heritage, but the Samoan shit, that shit was corny.
Oh, the dance and the
Like
haka,
I get it.
that's
I
probably culturally insensitive, and I apologize for that. I mean, at least I knew I fucked up right away. I was like, that was probably a
listen,
bad idea.
your receipt's coming.
That's all right.
what was I
But
gonna
yeah,
say?
like I know it's the heritage, but the shit, it was corny. You're like, it's one of those things where at a wrestling show, you're like, oh, okay, they're gonna come do their fucking dance. I'm gonna go to the bathroom.
I actually found
Like,
a clip of them dancing with
like,
Rikishi.
yeah, right. Like you throw
Fuck
that in and
dad.
stuff, and it's like yeah, right. Like I get it, like yourself, but like compared to what the Usos are now, like the shit was corny.
Yeah.
No offense.
No, I think you're absolutely right. I think what they became and how they reinvented themselves and reinvented themselves and reinvented themselves.
Right.
The number one compliment I could ever give to wrestlers, or like one of the biggest compliments I feel like that I can give to wrestlers or feel about wrestlers is longevity. And to create longevity, you need to be able to change. You can't just, even the Undertaker had to change. Like you can't just be the dead man for fucking 30 years. Like guys like that, guys like Kane, who switched his gimmick a bunch of times, some of them probably better than others, but losing the mask and being the monster without the mask, and then being Corporate Kane, and then going back to the monster.
Isaac
Like,
Yankem,
yeah, all of that stuff.
Diesel.
Mick Foley with the many faces of Foley and how he was able to kind
Well, I
of
mean,
even
well, that
turn
was
that
just
into its own
that was
thing,
just all at the same time.
which was hilarious. That
They were all in one Royal Rumble.
Now I still want to know, like, what was the plan if like Mankind didn't get eliminated and it was Dude Love's turn? Like, how is that going to go down? Like, can you
I
imagine
mean,
if like
they should have
Mick's
found
just
a way
still
to
in the
book
ring?
that.
Dude Love's music
point.
fucking hits, and he just
Oh
takes
my
off the
God,
Mankind
bro,
shirt and he's got the fucking heart tattoo.
with the technology they have now, they could have done it for like the Thunderdome Rumble or something.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. And they could have like CGI'd them actually fighting each other at some point.
Yeah.
They both hit
So
each other with a Sacco.
So
Just-
I'm just gonna split the difference here. I'm gonna read just a few more, and then I think I have enough that we could do a part two.
Yeah.
All
We
right,
can
cool.
we can at least we'll tease it and we can open the next episode with
Let me do
the rest of our hot takes. I know the people are going to be on the edge of their seat waiting.
Well, let me do just a couple more here that might be
Gotta
just
give the
quick
people
hits.
what they want.
The first one, we had a fantasy booking blog.
Oh, I think I did one.
Yeah, so that's a
I think
blog.
it might have been two at max.
Yeah. I think if you go to that old WordPress site, I think it's still up there, but it looks like shit because of whether it's pictures or links to shit I had is just are just like dead links now. So
I'm
it
sure
might
it's
not get.
fine. I'm sure it looks great.
The next one is Titus O'Neil is Ezekiel Jackson is Ahmed Johnson, who might also be almost.
Okay. I have nothing I want to change about that statement. I'm just going
No,
to
I
leave that
think
alone
it's
because I think
pretty.
that's I think that hit the nail right on the head. there.
Yeah, it's pretty
Because we
true.
were basically talking the contrast of them and like a Big E.
Because Biggie has
Biggie-
an actual
yeah.
like
Personality.
And can go in the ring. Which also kind of ties into the next one I had, which was I wrote Bobby Lashley was terrible. Well,
Yeah,
back then.
Yeah, I would
There's
stand by that.
somebody who when left learned to do hold and
Bobby
reinvented
Lashley
their career.
like I don't think Bobby Lashley was entertaining or even good, quite frankly, till
Wasn't.
not hurt business, whatever they were in Impact. It was like not the same group, but it was like
It was MVP. It
Lashley
was
and
Lashley,
MVP, Kenny King rings
Kenny
a
King.
bell.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about.
The
I can't
Beatdown
remember.
Clan.
Yeah, it was. It was the Beatdown Clan or something. It was
Okay.
like the Beatdown something. Beatdown
It was
Crew,
basic,
Beatdown Clan,
but
something like that.
it was basically the Hurt Business for the Hurt Business.
Yeah, but that's where Bobby Lashley like found.
That's when he got good. That's what
Yeah.
right, and it was that like mid 2010s, like after this. Because
I also think that
yeah,
Lashley's MMA career, obviously, again, we talked about, like I was talking about John Moxley before, about legitimacy, when legitimacy is attached to a wrestler. And I think Bobby Lashley, having not only kind of like had the MMA record that he has, because he still competes, but like having that, well, probably not now that he's back in WWE, but you know what I mean? He was still
Yeah.
doing it. But having the the record that he had in MMA, coming out as a legitimate badass, and then going to Impact and becoming the character that he basically is now, I think just completely gave him a 180 on his career for sure.
I do tend to forget, because his run right now is so good, that his return was a little rocky for a bit.
Yeah.
Like
and
the Rusev feud.
he always, I'll just say, I think he always needs to be a heel, because then when he's like a happy baby face, I just don't buy it.
Yeah.
At least or at least be like an ass kicker face, you know?
Yeah.
Kind of the anti-hero thing.
Like the Brock Lesnar stuff is like, it's like those are two guys. Like I know a lot of people are like, oh, the big guys, but like Lashley and Lesnar, I was looking forward to it when they did it the first time, and obviously
Wasn't Lashley the one that they did
They're
that
about to
weird
do it
fucking
again.
angle? They did that weird angle with Lashley and Mandy Rose, and that's how Mandy Rose's porn career started. Right? Didn't they do that thing with? Wasn't that Lashley where Mandy Rose was like waiting in his fucking bed and shit like that, like naked and stuff?
That wasn't Otis?
No.
Because I
I
thought
don't remember this.
Lashley's thing was with Lana.
Okay, no, that was with Lana. You're
Oh.
right. But there was another thing that like Mandy Rose, before the whole Otis thing, or maybe even after, like was involved with somebody, and there was like
I
this
thought
weird
it was
gimmick where
Dolph
she was
Ziggler.
like, she was like kind of stalking somebody. It was
Yeah,
weird. Like
Dolph
he didn't want
Ziggler,
her. I
I'm
feel like,
surprised.
and I thought it was Lashley. Maybe it was somebody else. I can't remember now. I don't know. She's a porn actress now, basically. I mean, yeah, not fully, but she might as well be.
Feel free to
just
share links in the DMs for research.
Okay, I think I have 3 more to end on. First
Big
off,
Bob.
Research purposes.
Abraham Washington made a Kobe Bryant joke that aged even worse.
Who the fuck is Abraham Washington?
Oh, bro, I remember this because
The prime time players. He was.
yeah. Hold on, what did he say? It was something like I can't remember the comparison, but it was
basically
something
a
like,
rape joke on air,
because
and
it was
he
about like Kobe.
fired,
It was like
immediately.
Kobe Bryant going hard in the hotel room or something. Fuck, now I can't remember.
Yeah, no, I do know it's coming to me what the line was, but
Like I don't even like.
Oh wait, hold on. I have the Wikipedia up, and it says that Kobe during the live broadcast of Monday Night Raw, July 30, 2012. Mostly made a joke referencing NBA player Kobe Bryant's sexual assault case back in.
Oh yeah, I see the quote now.
Titus O'Neil is like Kobe Bryant at a hotel in Colorado. He's unstoppable.
that's yeah.
When
Yep.
Raw returned from commercial break, the WWE apologized on air through announcer Michael Cole and Washington.
I remember,
apology that evening
like-
via Twitter, and noted there was no malicious intent behind the joke.
I just remember that because I like half remember it. And I just remember being like, there wasn't even like context to that. You just like had it out. You were just like, no, I'm saying this.
Yeah. Yeah. That man made a decision that day.
Yes.
He's like,
Yes,
I'll
he
be
did.
damned if anyone's gonna stop me.
Man.
Okay. Remember when Divas title matches were don't care?
Yep,
Yeah,
I do.
it was literally
Unfortunately, it
everything
wasn't
like,
that long ago.
yeah, it was everything
Yeah,
like
I think
pre.
sometime-
It was everything pre like 2016. Really,
Isn't
like
that long ago.
no.
Well, in
The NXT stuff was good, but the main roster stuff was still shit.
Yeah.
Now the main roster stuff is basically just as good, sometimes better.
Yes, agreed.
We've come a long way, except
Mhm.
I don't need Charlotte holding a championship anytime she's on my screen.
I don't even want to have this discussion because it's. I mean, it's fine. I mean, she's good. You can say what you want about the booking and the gimmick, but she's good.
At least it's not Ronda. Anyway,
That's also true.
Charlotte is just female John Cena at this point. People are just sick of her. That's all it is. It's not that she's not good. People are just sick of her.
So
I agree with that.
I'm gonna end this one on a. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna end it with this one.
A kaboom.
Rock and Austin, big careers, short title runs.
Yeah, we've talked about that before.
Yeah,
Like, I think since we restarted the show too, like we talked about like how short some of those title runs were back then.
I think it was more. I think they more played like hot potato with it just to get like they didn't care about like the long title reigns. I think they were well. Let's keep it unpredictable. If we change the title on Raw, or then on the Raw the night after a pay per view, then it's going to get people to tune in no matter what.
Yeah,
and I don't think it like mattered then. I feel like it's only in the last maybe like 10 years where like the length of a title reign, especially as you see with like Roman Reigns now. I don't know. I mean, it speaks for itself,
right.
But clearly that wasn't the thinking then. So maybe if you have a Rock and Austin now, they would have had a Roman Reigns like title run if you drop that character and that popularity in now.
I think the longest run between the both of them was when Austin won it at X7. And he was originally supposed to go, and I said this in the original podcast, he was originally supposed to go Mania to Mania and face Triple H the following year. Then 9/11 happened.
Where were you when they built the ladder?
And I also remember
what? I was too busy singing South Park show tunes.
I also remember that Kurt Angle and Stone Cold match being like one of my favorite matches ever, except for the fact that it didn't have an ending.
Yeah, I mean, look who was in the match. Nothing crazy, but yeah, I mean, it was a sign of the times. I don't think it was anything other than that. Doesn't mean I don't think, and I also don't think a long title run necessarily, means, it means a lot clearly. But like, not Roman Reigns length, but like if you hold like how long was Jinder champ? He had a decent length, right? Doesn't mean it's memorable.
Do you think
you just had to bring that up, didn't you?
Yeah.
You think Roman Reigns only has the run that he's getting is because like it's not even a good take or a good look at it at all. But do you think at least partially the reason why Roman's getting the run he's getting is because they want to kind of erase the CM Punk modern history run? Because like that was the longest time.
No, I don't think so.
They did that with Brock Lesnar already. If they wanted
that's
to.
True. That's true. That's a good point.
I think it kind of happened like by accident. You figure he was champ for almost a year before they brought the crowds back.
Yeah.
So it's just I don't know. It's like I think it's one of those things where it just happened. I think I figure the first however long they were like there just maybe wasn't a guy to beat him. Plus they were establishing the bloodline. He was feuding with like the Usos and stuff.
Yeah.
So like they spent a lot of time kind of building up everything, and then it kind of just happened. They were like, it's like he made it to because I remember he defended against Cena at SummerSlam in 21. So it was one of those like, well, Cena's not coming back, so he's not going to win the title. Yeah. And I think it kind of just happens.
I think part of it is also that they are desperately trying to have Rock versus Roman Reigns for a WrestleMania main event because they know they would make gangbusters.
Yep. I'll only say that I was shocked. The only thing I'm shocked he didn't lose the title in that triple threat at Mania when it was him,
Edge, and
Daniel Bryan. Yeah.
There were some near falls too, and then he just stacks them and pins.
Right.
Them.
I think that was the only time where you were like, yeah, this makes sense if he loses. But since that, not much. And I think it just kind of happened. And now they're like, I almost think it's shit that happens organically. I think like Undertaker streak, something like that. You're like, hey, this has been going on for a while. Let's do something. I think that's kind of what happened with they're like, oh shit, it's been a year and a half now, huh? Let's do something now. And that it kind of just happens.
We all know it's gonna be Cody Rhodes.
Sami Zayn should win the Rumble if you want my opinion.
Sami Zayn winning the Rumble would be awesome.
I mean, that should happen, but
Sami Zayn needs to be rewarded for having match of the year at last year's WrestleMania.
Yeah. Honestly, him and Roman would be match of the night. I
Yeah, he
wouldn't-
would have.
I-
He would be
like,
the first person to have match of the year 2 years in a row.
yeah, right. But I mean,
He's destined to win the tag titles with Kevin Owens from the Usos.
no, I think that's how that's going too, clearly. But if it's one of those things where I mean, I guess let's get into our sort of news portion of this for a minute or two. I know the dirt sheets are all like, well, The Rock's not coming for whatever. He says he's not in, he says he's not in shape. Obviously, that means ring shape. But
That means he's got to get off the juice before the wellness test.
alleged wellness.
There's no
Allegedly.
wellness policy in Hollywood. That's all I'm saying.
Exactly. But I don't know, man. Sami Zayn should win. If that Rock plan has to get thrown out and you got to do something. I mean, I know Cody's the obvious choice, but I feel like you can even wait even longer on this, and it might just be my own selfish thing of letting Roman have the title for like a decade or some weird shit.
Well, they've been saying that they might have Roman wrestle both nights.
No, I'm with it to whatever they can do to keep it going.
I mean,
But
they're already
having-
making the Usos defend tag titles separately.
So then, listen, if they're gonna split the belts and make Roman wrestle twice, you can get both Cody and a Sami Zayn story out of it.
Yes, exactly.
I'm for
Sami
that.
night 1 and Cody night 2.
Right. He cannot, because you can have your bloodline storyline, and then obviously you can have your
Royal Rumble winner.
yes, thank you.
Let's face it, it's going to be Cody.
It might, I'll
And
have
I'm
to check.
okay with it.
Yeah, me too. But I still see there's a lot of interesting shit going on, and I'm excited. I mean, this will come out. The Royal Rumble you're listening to this on Friday, so the Royal Rumble's tomorrow night.
Oh, Nikes.
God,
That's-
I love Saturday pay-per-views.
Yes, agreed.
There hasn't been a Sunday pay-per-view in a while, right? I'm not imagining that.
I don't know. What was
I feel
the
like
last
they took
one?
the hint and realized Saturday's a much better night for pay-per-views.
They haven't had one since War Games because there wasn't a December pay-per-view. There wasn't a
Especially-
December to dismember.
Well, they had to.
especially during football season.
That's true too.
Yeah, that makes sense too.
Like it'd be one thing if they went back to Sundays after football
Oh
season's
yeah,
over.
right. We got championship weekend coming up.
But
Kitty
Right.
goes meow.
Well, because the Super Bowl's moved back enough, they don't have that week between the two games. That used to be always the Royal Rumble Sunday, but they're not going to move the Rumble to February.
Nope.
So they just do it on Saturday now.
Kitty goes
Hmm.
meow. Hey, if I'm going to root for one team that's left.
Yeah, right. Yeah, not the Eagles.
I'm rooting for Bengals 49ers. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, Kitty
Mhm.
goes
It's a
meow.
good
I
one.
want the Bengals to win it all.
Yeah, I
After
wouldn't mind
the
the Bengals
Giants were
winning.
eliminated, I was basically like, whoever wins between the Bengals and the Bills, I want
Yeah.
them to go all the way.
Definitely
This is
not the
facts.
Bills.
Just
Definitely not
not
the Bills.
the fucking Eagles.
Definitely not the Bills.
Well, it ain't now.
It ain't.
The way you
Um,
feel, the way you feel about the Eagles is the way I feel about the Bills.
Well, yeah,
Makes sense.
Division.
Yep. So I was really happy to see them get knocked out. But I don't hate the Chiefs, but I would like to see the Bengals win it. I would like to see Joe Burrow win one.
I am on record as a very big Joe Burrow fan.
And I don't want Philly to win. So I
Okay.
definitely want San Francisco to beat them this weekend. But yeah, that's about it.
Yep.
Anything else before we sprinkle some crack on this bitch?
I don't know. I know I don't have anything. Let's get the plugs out of the way,
I'm
though.
gonna leave the rest for part 2.
Butt plugs of the week.
Oh, the week.
Stone cold butt plug.
Oh, the
Oh, the
century.
week. Oh, the week. Fuck, man.
New
We need to make
Jersey
a
rules
soundbite
you
of that.
backwards, retarded creep.
God, I wish they would do that again after how many years?
Yeah,
But he
because
has-
Aqua Teen's
They're
still
doing
relevant.
a movie or they're bringing back the show. One of the two.
Whatever. Bring it
Especially
back.
now that Rick and Morty's in trouble.
Yeah, I
Oh,
saw that.
oof.
Justin
And that
Roiland got
sucks.
fired
That was-
today.
I've been playing High on Life. It's kind of a fun game. That sucks.
How do you listen?
Anyway, okay.
Yeah.
Butt plugs.
Yeah.
What plug of the week?
You can follow the podcast on Twitter at 6man Tag. Now, if you're questioning, how do I find this? If you motherfuckers spell the word 6, you bitch.
Wrong.
The number 6. 6man Tag. You can find us on Instagram. That's again the number 6 at 6 Man Tag Podcast. Of course, if you're listening on Apple or Spotify, thanks. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button, hit that follow button, whatever the fuck you do on those apps. And we're on YouTube. So if you're looking at our faces and you see me getting really close to the microphone to plug this, thank you. Oh, the audio only people don't get it. Yeah, if you're on you
now you have to subscribe, motherfuckers.
Yep, you want to see what that was, you can look on the YouTube, and then you subscribe, hit the little bell, get those notifications. But yeah, 6 Man Tag on Twitter, 6 Man Tag Podcast on Instagram, and just 6 Man Tag Podcast, the number 6 on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. Thanks. What else? Who else has butt plugs? I think someone else has butt plugs.
I got some butt plugs.
Oh, good. Thank you. Go.
Got some nice butt plugs for you.
Big butt plugs.
Big old butt plugs. As always, folks listening at home, if you would like to check out some new music, check out the Paperweight Project on SoundCloud, Instagram, YouTube. There's going to be stuff coming soon. I know I feel like I've been saying this forever, but I am working on stuff. John and I are working on new stuff as well as a new podcast for you guys. So be on the lookout for that. That is going to be called the Paperweight Podcast. So, very easy to remember. Don't have the socials up for that yet. Like I said, I'm going to make those. We're going to record a couple test episodes before we start putting them up anyway. But I'm supposed to be recording an episode with him most likely tomorrow.
Release the test.
Released it.
I'm pretty sure.
Show me a test.
I'm pretty sure on Instagram, not like a couple hours ago, I saw Andy pimping the Paperweight Project.
He did, as a matter of fact. Andy did, and my buddy Andy, my former tag team partner,
former guest of the show,
back in the archives. Check it out. And he's definitely a friend of the show because he definitely gives us shout outs and stuff like that. But he's been shouting out the Paperweight Project as well. So I want to give Andy a shout out. Check out he's got the Studio Whoa up and running. Check it out. I think he's got Facebook and Instagram and all that stuff too. It's Studio Whoa, as in Whoa Daddy. That is his tagline. Copyright. I don't want to get any copyright infringement here, so don't send it to me. But Whoa Daddy, that is Andy's thing. So check him out.
We got a whoa chant.
Whoa, Whoa Bundy.
Thank you.
Can I get a Whoa Bundy?
Whoa Bundy.
Quick backstory for anybody who doesn't know about that. Anytime like this group of people, any of our other friends, anytime we were all about to do something stupid or just random, that's usually how it kicked off. Somebody would just put their arm in and we would give them Whoa Bundy. And the next thing you know, we'd be 2 hours deep into a trip to Atlantic City at 3 a.m. But anyway,
it was more or less the Leroy Jenkins of the group.
It literally was. It was our Leroy Jenkins chant. We were like, let's do this. And we all rushed in together though. That was the difference. But because we're all maniacs. But check it out though. There's going to be some socials. Sprite. I love Sprite parties. There's going to be some socials coming up soon for the Paperweight Podcast. They are socials already for the Paperweight Project. So please follow both, subscribe. Once the the podcast stuff starts coming out. Basically just a quick intro into what it is. It's just me and one of my best friends, John Hooten, who is also my musical partner for a lot of the songs that I do for the Paperweight Project. Me and him just decided to make a show where we just kind of shoot the shit, and we're going to have our friends come on. We're going to have different guests just kind of come on, talk about different topics, talk about what's going on in our lives, how we're feeling, what's going, what we're up to. But I look forward to doing more of those.
I may have pitched a dad's episode to John.
Oh, I'm down for. I mean, I'm not a dad, but I'm down for that. Like, I'll fuck it. We'll just have all the dads on, and I'll just ask you guys a bunch of dad questions.
Exactly. Yeah, me, Skylar to join.
Yeah. No, I like it.
John was so excited he thought I meant start a whole new podcast. I said, whoa.
No.
Whoa.
We have enough going on.
Trouble.
Yep. No, but for sure we're gonna have these guys on. But I'm gonna have people like Andy on. I'm gonna have people like my friend Jesse on, who you guys haven't seen yet, but I've talked about on the show before. One of my best friends in the world. We've been through a lot of shit. We got some stories to tell.
Designed our logo.
Yep,
yes,
the one who drew our logo, the one who drew the logo that is behind me on this background. If you're watching on YouTube for the Paperweight Project, which by the way, if you didn't know, that's what the logo looks like. So if you go and look on YouTube or Instagram, that's what you'll see. But that's basically it for my butt plugs. Skylar, What do you got in the realm of butt plugs of the week?
I might make a new Twitch name at some point, but right now Twitch Strange.
Is it just going to be
AFC.
Skylar?
Yeah, just Skylar, all capitals. I wonder if that's been taken.
You should make it just Skylar, like
Playing
actually,
Persona
like
3
right,
portable right
JUST.
What?
You should actually do like JUST Skylar, like just make it just Skylar.
I'm gonna see if that's available.
Um,
Right now I'm playing Persona 3 portable. However, I'm also okay. Has anybody here have either of you played God of War from 2016-17?
yes,
No, I haven't played in a long time.
But you played it.
the new one with the sun. Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Have you played Horizon Zero Dawn?
No.
No.
Never mind then. I have both of those, and they both have sequels. I'm trying to figure out which one should I work my way through.
Personally, I really enjoyed God of War, and I'd want to play the sequel. There's so many other games I want to buy too, and I just don't have the money for it right now. So I need to start winning some poker tournaments. But yeah, I definitely want to get God of War 2 at some point. Not not 2, but Ragnarok, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I'm gonna play one of those two so I can finally get to the sequel. What was the other thing I was playing?
I want to get the Last of Us remake again.
Oh yeah, no, I'm gonna start doing the Last of Us for real.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, and I might even replay part 2. We'll see.
Fuck
yeah. Yeah, but no, I'm gonna go through the part 1 remake, especially with how kick-ass the show's been so far.
Yeah, it has been outstanding for anybody who hasn't watched it yet. Not going to give away any spoilers, but definitely if you're a fan, whether you're a fan of the game or not, it's just a well done show. I feel like so far.
Speaking of video game shows, even though
it's not
book,
it's not spoilers, but I mean, whatever. I'm just gonna say it. If you haven't seen it, earmuffs. Like when you see Sarah die, even though I know it, like I know what's happening.
Yep.
You're still like, what the fuck? No, like I know this happened, but you're still like, fuck. And they really got the point across in the show.
Yep.
And the reason why is because they literally, much like the game, you're kind of just following Sarah around for the whole first half of that episode. You're not following Joel. Like Sarah's the main character of the first half of that episode.
As far as you know. Yeah.
Yep.
But speaking of video game shows, even though it's actually based off the book, I'm going through the PS5 version of The Witcher 3.
Nice.
As I said, I will beat that game.
I wish you all the luck.
So
that game was too complicated
by the end of 2023, maybe I will beat that game.
The game was way too complicated.
What?
I could never get into that game. It was too complicated for me. I was just like, I got to remember how to do spells and fight motherfuckers at the same time. Fuck this.
See, the problem is they need to invent dad mode for games where it's just like, oh, you haven't played in 6 months. Let's give you a refresher real quick.
Yeah,
this is how you play.
This is true.
Where you are in the story. Okay, let's go.
Quick tutorial for those of us who just drop off of games on a dime.
Mm-hmm.
And then hopefully I could get some of these bastards to play one of the free games with me, like Rumbleverse or something.
I did download it, so I will play with you. I've been working all week, but I am off the next 2 days, so we could definitely set something up and play that, and maybe some Borderlands or something.
Yes, Borderlands. I want to play Borderlands so bad. And the only reason I have time for any of these games is because you have a kid that goes to bed at 8:30. It's like, well, I can't go out.
Yeah. Also, you guys should definitely get NHL, but
I mean, it's on EA Play, so.
No, the new one probably isn't yet.
Yeah, probably not.
Is 23 out?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, that's not out. 22 was on.
Yeah. 22 is up there.
Yeah, I get the 23, son.
23 will be up there in a couple of months.
Big Rig Butters. If you play NHL, look out for Big Rig Butters, part of Team Goat Sack.
Anyway, bring some crack on this bitch.
Yeah.
Let's bring some crack on this.
This was fun. Some of our takes were. I don't think we had really terrible takes. I think they made. They didn't
done.
age. Well, oh yeah, shit. We're still a part 2 to this. Okay, what we heard so far wasn't crazy.
Samoa Joe knows he can't beat me.
I don't think try. I mean, our takes probably didn't age well based on people changing and this and that. But I don't.
But that's
at the time.
This episode.
Exactly, but at the time, I mean, sure, all the takes made sense. I don't think we had anything too silly. We were certainly wrong, Bobby Lashley.
Yeah.
Although at the time he did
probably wrong about
he wasn't good at the time. It's not that we were wrong. He just
true.
You know what I mean? He kind of reinvented himself. So good on him.
We got that one wrong.
and the Usos, I guess, did get their.
They did all right.
Yeah, they did good.
I'm
did
excited. I don't even know what
Those
takes you're
dudes did
finding.
okay.
They did. But yeah, listen, join us next week. The rest of our hot takes from 9 years ago. And listen, we make fun of this. We could probably, God, good Lord, if I don't know if we're still doing this in fucking 10
Another
years.
10 years.
We could look back at episodes from this past year and be like, what the fuck were we talking
Put
about?
it in the books. Mark it down in your calendars. 10 years from today's date, we're doing the 10-year anniversary of the show. And we're going to talk about all our shitty takes.
2033. I can't even think about that. My head's gonna explode.
Yep.
But hey, this was a fun one though. I hope you enjoyed us.
Rocco is going to walk into the room. You talk about wrestling with your stupid friends again, Dad.
You idiot.
Or Liam.
Fucking loser.
Wrestling's
Liam,
for
like-
nerd.
No, my son apparently has discovered John Cena and The Rock, so I'm
He's
trying
gonna
to
live
figure
SmackDown.
out.
Cena.
I'm trying to figure out how to approach this.
And his name is John. All right, we got to go before
He's
I fucking...
Mike.
Fuck.
When they blast it with the heavy bass and
Yeah.
gets me every time.
It's great.
It's the same joke as the Joe Biden Minnesota
Yeah.
thing.
But it's like a Rickroll version of it because sometimes you just don't see it coming.
Oh my god. Holy, this is for
Minnesota.
All right.
For
This is getting out
CJ,
of hand.
for CJ and Skylar. I'm Mike. Hey,
Ah, man.
love you guys.
Goodbye,
See you
everybody.
next time. Peace.
Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Minnesota.